Hello, you guys. I'm super, super, super excited today. Miss Megan May is here with us, and I've been following her for a long time. It's so weird. I found you, and then the first like highlight reel was the About Me reel. Like it was just right there. It
Okay.
popped up, and I was like, literally, like from the get-go, like, what is her story? Like just diving into the entire thing. And I was like, you're so real and you're so like heart led. And just, we need more women like that in this world. We need more women to, um, I'm all about uncovering the layers,
Mhm.
and getting back to that real version of ourselves. And so we need more of that. And um, it's such a blessing to have you on and just to get to talk about your story. And so thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I just have to laugh because it was literally only a couple weeks ago. I could not sleep and it was like 3 in the morning and I did like the worst thing you could do. And that was grab my phone, right? I just like,
Yes,
it
of
was,
course.
I tried everything mentally to unwind and I couldn't. So I grabbed my phone and I just happened to open up my Instagram and I seen you liked one of my posts. And it was so weird because anybody else could have liked it or hearted it,
Yeah.
after you, but you were like that person. And I looked at your picture and I'm like, whoa, who's this girl?
Oh,
And so then I'm like on a squirrel path of like digging into you and all the things. And I'm like, okay, this girl is really cool. Just your at 3 in the morning, your
yeah.
own page like instantly brought a smile to my face and joy to my heart. And then I was like, she has a podcast. And then I realized you were doing this virtual event. And I was like, okay, I feel like I need to meet you. And then you were the one who's like, I think you need to come on my podcast. So thank you so much. So I feel like you know me probably more than I'm like,
Right.
deep diving into you now, but so exciting. So what an honor it is to be here.
Yeah, I love it. I really wanna, like, as you said, like, you like to get deep, so, like, I
Hmm.
really, like, wanna just freaking go there, like, with your story of being a mom, and I think, um I think just, like, what a beautiful way to, like, share your heart and, like, just get to, just add so much love and everything into your life. But I wanna talk about your story of, you have 3 kids and then you adopted.
Yes.
And, like,
Yes.
what did that look like? I mean, how did you make that decision? Like, how did that come about?
Okay, so a little backstory about me is I'm from a really small town of like 700 people. I've always had a heart to live somewhere bigger, and so that was the goal. Like I was like, man, I can't wait to get out of this small town. I want good food, I want city, I want entertainment, and I never wanted to have children. That was kind of my thing. I did not want kids. I knew if I lived in a really actually wanted to go to New York, and I knew that lifestyle would not be great for kids because I wanted
Mhm,
to be in the center of it all.
mhm.
And this like Chevy truck came driving in our town, and this receding hairlined country boy came rolling out. And long story short, he is 7 years older than I am. His name is Jake.
Oh,
And he's from our town too, but I didn't know him because he was graduated when I was in sixth grade.
okay.
So he came rolling into town, and I fell in love with Jake.
Huh,
And Jake brings all the country vibes. He is a country boy at heart. He is truly an introverted opposite of me. And
okay.
so when we were dating, I felt like all my dreams and my goals kind of like got wrapped up in my love for him. And
Mhm.
so when we were dating, I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I do not want any kids
No.
or anything. And it was like, whoa, what? Um, I've only ever seen myself with kids, kind of all the things. And so I did what any girl in like Madly in Love does. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we could have one kid. And so we got married really fast. We went through definitely some hard seasons because we are so opposite.
Sure.
But we had one child, we had a girl that led to having another child, a boy. And I said we were done. I always say Jake and God said we're not. And then we got pregnant with our third. And so we had another boy. So girl, boy, boy. I sold all my baby stuff twice. I was done after two kids, and then the third came, and he's just fantastic. And then I was like, we're good. We are so good. And actually, I had a very hard pregnancy. So we made things final that I could no longer have children of my own. And we joked, I was like 9 months pregnant, and we were sitting trying to fit together on our chair. And we joked, and it was like, if for some reason, I mean, God thinks that we need to have any more kids, it does not need to be our biological children. And we joked, we laughed, and moved on with life. And then when our son, our youngest, was 4, we just, I had this little girl weigh on my heart. And I was the one who finally, after I very scaredly started diving into this little girl weighing on my heart. And so I was the one who came to my husband saying, I think we need to go on an adoption journey.
Oh
And
my goodness.
yeah, and he was like, okay, like, okay. And so we did. We said yes to adoption. We said yes to so many unknowns. And so that was back in, the year of 2020 was when she started weighing on my heart. That
Oh,
December, we said yes, started all the daunting paperwork because you have to be approved. You can have 3 kids, but you have to be approved to adopt a kid. So we had to like sign our lives away. And yeah, we became active in 2021, meaning we were able to present our family to birth moms, expecting moms, and so forth. And that little girl came real when her birth mom picked our family in that October. And so we welcomed a beautiful, spunky little girl into our family. She was born in February of 2022. And so we have 4. So we have 4 kids. And it is crazy, busy, and everything. But I have now become an advocate of knowing how babies can grow in your tummy and in your heart. And
yes.
that girl has my heart. It's crazy. She's the most like me out of all my kids. So like
Oh,
she's the spunky, uh,
exciting.
fearless. Actually, she's way more fearless than I am. So we have 4. We have 4.
It's so beautiful to me, like how you knew, like you saw her coming before she was
Yes.
even born. I mean, you just felt her and just knew that she had to be part of your life. I mean,
Yes.
they say like, and like the spiritual, like the woo-woo world,
Yep.
like you choose your family, you choose your parents. And I mean, who knows like what happens, but I mean, I believe so
And
strongly, like she knew and you knew. It's just
well, and it is so crazy because even though, our family is all Caucasian, my
yeah.
husband and I are both Caucasian, and from the time she started weighing on my heart, I just always knew it would be a biracial girl. And even though I knew that could change, right? Every story and every journey is so different. Like I knew that could change, but I was so held in my heart, but we presented to any ethnicity, we presented to any gender, so we did not, it wasn't like we were like, we're only going to present to girls or
Yeah.
biracial, but like it was, we just were so open to trusting that
Oh.
vision. And it was really crazy because when her birth mom, when that, we got an email about her case, they call it, it's just like, I had the oddest connection to this woman who just happened to be pregnant with a biracial girl, and she knew it. She knew it, and the stars aligned. I mean, I think I have this like great book, and it just shows these stars, and they're in 2 separate areas, and each page of the book like brings them closer. And then at the end, it's like a mom and a little girl like holding in one with one star, and it's just like that could not explain our journey anymore. So yeah,
I just like so beautiful. And I
yeah,
love,
so
can
it is.
we talk about like how, because I know that you have a boutique that
Mhm.
you're selling so many beautiful things just to kind of like bring that message to life, that like
Yes.
you can have, kids in whatever way or whatever way that your life is going to become fulfilled, like go for it.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people don't because um it doesn't fit the status quo or maybe,
Mhm.
having a kid that's not the same color as you or the same
Right.
I mean,
Right.
people it's just not the societal norm. And I
Yeah.
freaking love it when we're breaking the societal norms and like doing
Yes.
what's on our heart and doing what is going to bring love into our lives. So,
Yes.
yeah, tell me
And
more about
so I've always had a deep love language of gift giving. It is a true passion of mine. And I actually co-owned a brick and mortar with two other girls. It was called Sprinkle of Joy. And then we actually had two locations with a flower shop called Joyful Bloom. So we always loved to spread joy in whatever form that came to us, whether if it was clothing, we wanted to make women feel beautiful in clothing, and through flowers and gifts and stuff. And it was crazy because I went on my whole adoption, owning these stores and spreading joy and all the things. And I thought to be an adoptive mom was just going to be enough. And then it was more than enough. It was actually the hardest journey I've ever been on. But last year, I, was setting up my New Year's goals, and I'm like, this is what my dreams and goals and all this stuff are. And I felt just a strong pull to branch off of my partners and to go back into that adoption space, go back into the foster space, and be able to love on these women and families and adoptees and all the things. And I was like, oh, I am so unqualified to do this. Um, but I'm unqualified to do the knowledge of it all, but I am not unqualified for the heart that I have been given. And so from there, I said we divorced us three girls. We divorced beautifully. I mean, it didn't come easy, but one took one location, the other took the other location, and I went and flied out solo. And so I, from scratch, started You Matter Boutique. And it is now it is shippable gift boxes. It is heavily catered to women in the adoption space. I remember our daughter was born in Florida. And I remember being in Florida, and it was actually my business partner. She sent me like 3 different Amazon boxes because she could not find one gift to like represent what she wanted to send me while we
Oh,
were at this place with our daughter. She just got born. And so we had to wait for Florida to release us. And so I
wow.
remember she was like, I'm sorry, it all came in 3 boxes, but this is what I wanted to all give you. I just couldn't find it together. And I think from there, I was like, I need to make that. I need to create that. And so, my gift boxes are made very much with love, and they're always evolving. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, and I just wanted that birth mom to receive a gift box. I wanted an adoptive mom who was like in the midst of waiting and going through her hard for a friend to be able to send them a gift box saying, hey, girl, you matter to me. And so I have that heavily in adoptees, like their journey, their story. I mean, all 4 of my kids, just because our daughter's adopted, does not mean she's any different or less than our biological kids. All of them have a unique story, and they're made uniquely. They're not made to be in the same box, which I love. And so, but I also, felt the need to be an advocate for adoptees, of the sense of like, you need to share your story. You need to like, I started a podcast to interview more adoptees, just of like, let me hear you, because every journey and story is so different. And so, yeah, and then from there, the brand is called You Matter. So I also wanted just generic gift boxes of like You Matter items
Oh,
to really go to anyone. So I always say I'm like a mom, adoptive mom, a birth mom, an adoptee, and like what my kids call a bruh, because I'm called a bruh. But like just as a woman, just in general, to just receive a box at her door
yeah.
that she matters to someone, right? And so it has been, in the year, my website has changed because I'm
Mhm.
learning and growing, but I finally am like, this is my heart. And so every time I get a gift box order and get to send that out, I'm like, it's just so good. And then
Feels
I
good.
also, to give back to the foster and adoption community, because it's so expensive. So 10% of all my sales go back into the community.
Oh, that's
Every
so
month we do a give back, and so I feel like I have honestly I have like the best of both worlds. I get to give
yes.
back, but I also get to make people feel like they matter. So
I think that's so, so cool. I've not personally adopted, but I know I've heard so many stories from friends and people that adopt, and it's just so, so much.
it's
And
so
like you were saying, it's very expensive. It's a lot. There can be so much pain with the
mhm,
different types of rejection that you might face
yes,
if it just doesn't work out or that kind of thing. And also that scrutiny of like I have to be like qualified or I have to
yes,
go through this whole thing.
yes,
Um, and it's like, yeah, like I have 3 kids. I have this beautiful household. I'm ready to welcome another. I've been dreaming of her for years. And then, it's just such a hard process. But what a beautiful position to have gone through it and know firsthand how hard it is and everything that
yes,
that family's facing and now be able to like give back and support
yes.
them in such a beautiful way.
Yes, because now, I mean, when I look at other people's posts and their journey, or especially the start of a journey of adoption, like it was the hardest and most beautiful journey we ever walked in as a married couple, as a family together. I would do it a million times over. But there were times where I'm like, I just, first of all, I'm so glad I didn't Google too much. I went into it very
Mm,
unknown, which was good,
yes.
because everything just caught me off guard. I'm like, I didn't know this, but um, like I said, I know I can't be a educational advocate. I'm no doctor or therapist or anything, but I can
Sure.
love you through it. I can
Yeah.
let you reach out to me saying, I could scream in a pillow right now. It's so hard. And I literally every day have the walking, breathing miracle of the faithfulness of keep going. And
Yeah.
all the not yets, all the rejections, all that is like, you keep going. Cause every day I would walk by her room and know that someday there is going to be someone in that crib or
Wow.
that bed. I didn't know exactly, actually seen her as 2 and we received her as a baby. So I was like a little off on that. But it's
Oh,
like I just knew that. And that's what I kept holding on to. And so if I can be an encouragement and again send a box or encourage a friend, like if your friend is going on an adoption journey
yeah.
or they are in the thick of foster care or
Yeah.
anything, like the last thing you do is you treat yourself, right? Because everything
Mhm.
else is expensive, every finances and stuff. You're never going to treat yourself to something.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
with if
that's
others can do that, that's a cool gift. So
I love that I really, really, really am obsessed that you just said that because, that's something I preach all the time is like, as women in general, we do not take the time to stop and to prioritize
no,
ourselves and
no,
love ourselves. But especially when you're going through a journey like that, I mean,
yes,
100%, you're so wrapped up in everything that's going on.
yes,
And I'm sure you're probably like head on the pillow trying to fall asleep at night and your mind is just reeling. And it's hard to break yourself out of that.
for
And
sure.
so yeah. And so
Yes.
having a friend just, like, with a gift box, being able to, like, say all the things and just show up and give you something that allows you to, like, physically something physically that
Yes.
shows up in your life that can create that moment of pause for you.
Well, and I think too, like we as, on the other side of it, I have just
Yeah.
such a beautiful inner circle of friends. So I felt like I had such a great support even, and it was
Mhm.
hard, and I know so many people don't have that.
Mhm.
And so it's like if you can receive that, if you get to, like you said, just feel that worth because we don't treat
Yeah.
each other. And that was when I seen your page too, like that self-worth. Like you cannot be
Yeah.
everything to everybody else if you do not work on you first
Yes.
and take care of you. But my friends were like, how can we help you? How can we be there for you? And sometimes they don't even know what to say. And
Sure.
so I guess my goal with the gift boxes was also just to take that stress from the friend away and say, you just tell me what you want that card and I will make it everything you need it to be. Like or if I know anything, sometimes I get privileged enough where they'll write me also with the gift and say like they're expecting a little boy in a couple weeks, and whatever. And if I even know that situation, then I can send my own little like hey, I'm a heart mom too. I get it, like my own love. And so it's just like the more I can personalize that is
Yeah.
just is so awesome. But it takes that work from their friend who doesn't know what to say, who doesn't know what
Yeah.
to do, but they
Yeah.
want them to know that they're loved and they matter.
And I think, like, it's just it's, like, kind of giving me this thought of, like, it's okay to not know what to say, like, for that
Yes.
friend out there,
Yes.
like, it's totally fine, like, you don't have to know all the right things to say,
Yes.
but just showing up and just, like, reminding her just, like, "What can we do? How can we pour into you for a minute?" And also, I love that about how people can connect to you and tell you the message of what their friend is going through, because not only are they getting this box that, like, has these, beautiful things and, but
Mhm.
also they know their friend is supporting them, and then they're also linking up with somebody who's been through it. So, like,
Yes, so you
what
don't
a
feel so
oh,
alone.
exactly,
Yes.
yes. I love that, like, just especially in any of these journeys that we go through in life, it's like so often it can feel hard and
Mhm.
depressing almost when you feel like you're the only one, you feel so alone. So knowing that you're not alone.
And I think that's like, my mission. I hosted a speaking event in the beginning of this year. It was my first one. It was called Believing in You. And I think that was my biggest thing. I just felt this deep burning in my heart that we as women, like, we need to spread out in this world. Like, you might not be called to love on people in the adoption space, right? You might be, right? But you might not. You might be called to love this set of group, like this area in life, and to spread out. I feel like we just need to like hold hands and spread out and make a bigger dent in this world. Like, women need to root on each other
Yeah.
more, be there for one another. And I'm like, I just had this like vision of like what we are all called to is going to be different, and this supposed to be, because we need to make a bigger impact. um and so, yeah, it's been a privilege. It's been learning, and when you say like sometimes you just need to be there. I mean, I have women that will reach out to me, and I just let them keep writing, and I'll tell them just keep writing, because I feel like them writing it is like their own journal of like screaming in the pillow, of saying it's hard, and it's just letting them write. And not There's times where I can give advice, and there's times where I just need to let them know that it's a safe space uh, to write, and to journal, and then, you know, and feel better, because sometimes we just need we just need to let it out,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. I wanted to ask you, I had another question, but I want to ask you more about, like, you matter. Like,
Mhm.
when you say that and you're like, just what does that embody to you? Like, how, like, let's get deep with that message a little bit.
Yes. So that was a crazy thing, when I was ultimately trying to put a website together. And we did, with my business partners, we were like, we all have really big giving hearts. And so gift boxes were something we're like, we need to ship out our hearts, kind of thing. And so when I branched off, I obviously knew I was going to go into the adoption space. And I was like, what do I want to stand for? What can be a universal, message, that is going to encompass my heart, not be too deep, because I like joking, and I'm not too heavy, but
Right.
so. And I just remember like turning around in my office and seeing on a notebook, and it's actually a notebook that I send out in my gift boxes, but it just said, "You matter." And I was like, yes, there it is. You matter. Because I think women, I mean, guys too, but like women can forget how much they matter. When you're indebted, I say we wear a lot of hats. You can be a friend hat and a daughter hat and a wife hat, a mom hat, like a coworker hat. Like, we wear a lot of hats, and we forget the hat that matters the most is the one that is us. And so, like that, I felt like through anything I do, in the and adoption space, or not, speaking events or anything, that you matter can just encompass such a deep rooted heart of mine, of saying, I get you. I was I call myself a people pleaser in rehab. I have battled with my body issues. I have, you know, uh, battled with my internal trauma. Like I think on the surface level, everyone can seem so perfect and put together, but it's like, you matter. Your story and your journey matters, because if you don't share that, I always say there's someone drowning in this world that needs the buoy that you have.
Oh,
And if you don't feel that you matter, that girl's going to drown.
yeah.
And so I'm like, give me your hand, here's my buoy, and I'm going to take you out and
Yeah.
bring you up, because I need you to then grab that next girl's hand. Because it's not my buoy she needs
Yeah.
yours. She needs your
Yeah.
story, your journey, your help, your heart. But you
Yeah.
have to feel that you matter first to help that girl next to you. And so I think that is what really started to unknowingly at the time, because I hit 36 and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to be when I grow up? Like, I mean, that was like, I mean, my grandma's like, oh, what are you, like, you're leaving your career, you like all this thing. And I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And I think through like just really intentionally uh, following my heart in it, and walking scared. I'm not going to say I'm not, walking scared all the time, but it, I just so deeply in my head picture that girl, that woman. And so the You Matter brand really encompasses a lot, but more than anything, it is my mission to help every girl feel like they matter in this world, because it's so important for people behind them. We owe it to people behind us. So that's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
true.
the
It's
deep
so easy.
rooted.
Yeah, because it's
Yes.
so easy to, like, play it small and be like, "I
Yes.
don't matter," and just like you said, as women, we wear all these hats and
Yes.
we kind of cover ourselves in all of that, and it's easy to just be like, "No, I'm just a mom, I'm just a boutique owner,
Yes.
I'm just, this, I'm just a podcast host," but,
Yes.
like, you are so many things to so many people, and you can lose your own identity, but,
For
like,
sure.
you deeply matter, like, as a human, like, so
And I
I'm
think we sit behind a screen, I can look at your Instagram account and
yeah.
say like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
girl's on fire. I could never host a
Yeah,
virtual event. I could
yeah,
never go out in a camera and say like, I love myself. Whatever,
yeah,
like I could never make that impact. And I think we have to like rein in what impact is,
yep.
because one person is just impacting, one person can be equally as important as impacting 1,000.
Yes.
So because that one person that you impact can lead to that 1,000, so I just think it's so important. It's so easy to get caught up in, I'm not that valid because I don't have this. I can't be on a stage. I can't. That's not me to be in front of a camera, but you can go sit and have coffee with someone that needs you.
Yeah,
You can
yes.
send a message to someone who needs you. You might not be in a social media platform, but that does not give you the right to stay small, to not make an impact. Like you have no right to stay small.
So good.
We all do it
So
scared,
good.
right?
Yeah,
We all do it
yeah,
scared.
yeah. Literally, I love that you just said that. Like, you don't have to do the whole social media or the coaching, or you don't have
Yes.
to, be on the stages. Like, you're gonna do what feels right for you, what comes from your heart,
Yes.
and it's going to impact people, but just show up as yourself. That is, like, the
Yes.
big thing. Just show up and just
Show up.
allow that to unfold. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I literally, this is like so I just love your heart and I love your
Thank
message and
you.
just like it's so palpable. Like just from your Instagram page, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. I just like want to
That's a
be in
big
your
deal because
world.
I'm not gonna lie. I had to take when I left the boutique world, and owning a retail space, I had to take an Instagram course because I had no idea what to do on,
Yes.
and I had no idea. Like I was like, I don't even know social media. I mean, I was bored. They were like the most technology inclined person ever. But you just and you do have to, I had to remember too, I can't compare myself to Audrey Rose. I can't compare myself to
Yeah.
Christy Wright. I can't compare myself to Jennifer Allwood. I mean, there's like people, Jenna Kutcher. I can't, like these people
Yeah.
that you can follow, Jamie Lee, and you you have to just remember I can be me
Yes.
And that will bring the right audience. And I always
Yeah.
say, I'm not for everybody. We're
Yeah.
not for everybody.
Yeah.
You will always have those people that are like sitting in the back saying, mm-mm, you know, we're not for everybody,
Totally.
but we are for somebody. So
Yes.
yes,
Oh, and that's what matters. Yes. Oh,
yes.
I love it. Okay, two last things.
Okay.
What do you have coming up? How do we get in your world? Where can we find you? Where do we get these boxes? All of that. And then I
Okay.
always ask after, what is like a quick tip for self-love or self-care
Yes.
that,
I
somebody could
love
do
that.
like tonight?
Yeah, so well, I added another crazy title to my name. I just became an author. I wrote a book.
Woo!
Okay, so and that's a big part. If you want to read on, it's really of my journey of the life I thought I would have to the life I have now, and how it's a million times bigger. But I would have bet $1 million on this podcast to say I would never speak of 4 kids that I would have, or anything, or adopting, or, anything like that. So I wrote a book. It's called From Zero to Four. You can find it on Amazon, or it's on my website if you want. And I have a gift box to come with it if you want to order it
Ooh,
on my
I
website.
love it.
So that is From Zero to Four. I am on Instagram at You Matter by Megan. And that is, I try to bring on, you see a lot of our youngest daughter, because she's like the one that lets me take all the
Oh,
pictures, right? Like,
cute.
there is something said about like when they're like, oh, they only show the youngest. It's because she's the one that's not like, don't record me, don't, so she doesn't have an opinion yet. Um, but I try to come on there with marriage tips. I have a beautiful marriage that did not come easy, and so we've been married 15 years, and I just feel, it's important to just remember that it's real and raw and
Yeah.
all the things. So I kind of come there with marriage, adoption, really encouragement. I hope that in a world of a lot of crap on social media, I hope people can find me and be like, they can smile. Like when I opened up yours and I'm like, oh, this just like everything made me smile.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And then, of course, I have my website, You Matter Boutique. And so that is just my shippable heart. It's my
I
heart
love
shipping out. So,
for all
and
of
then I
this.
have a podcast, the Megan May podcast. I almost forgot to say
Yeah.
that. So, yes, so I have a podcast. It kind of encompasses all those topics as well. And so that's kind of where I'm at in this life for now until I figure out. I
Thanks.
always say at the end of my book, it will like say, where I'm at. But then I'm like, depending on the time you read this, I might be none of those things, like, because I just,
That's okay.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
yes. So that's where I'm at. As for self-care, because I am such an advocate of like,
yeah.
if you are married, it is so important to date your spouse. If you are a mom, it is so important to even date your children, but also like date yourself.
Love
And I think too, if I had to give a tip, because there are always going to be busy seasons, whether you are a mom, whether you're in a career path, whether you are a wife, whether you're just trying to figure out life, there will always be like these busy seasons. And I think what's so important is to like to know you enough to reward yourself along the way. And that doesn't always come with, you don't have to spend all this money. But like
yeah.
for me, when I'm writing a book and I just like want to bury myself in a hole while I'm editing because it's like the worst
Right.
thing ever.
Yeah.
There was like little things along the way. I love doing kindness acts. Like it was just like I celebrated a book edit, getting through like 20 pages of book editing by buying someone coffee behind me. That fuels me. I celebrate it by getting my favorite lip gloss, or lip tint, or my favorite 2000 calorie coffee drink, or that's going to look different for everybody, but it's like
Yeah.
you want some light. You get a big light after the end of like a crazy season, but like you want light along the way. So whatever that looks like to you, watching a girly smutty movie. I don't know, like whatever. It's like when I get through this, I'm going to do this. And so I think
Mm,
that is important of self-care, because
yeah.
if you mentally can't handle like those big seasons often prepare us for the next thing, right? And so if like you can't take care of yourself, you are never going to be able to be there for the next
Yeah.
thing that you need to go through, or to like celebrate that that thing that you just did, that hard thing you did. So that would be my biggest self-care is we wear hats. We wear a lot of hats. But celebrating small wins is equally as important as that big win at the end of whatever you're doing. So um
And
it's yeah, so that
so everybody listening, take a picture of those small wins, share it on Instagram, tag
yes,
at You Matter by
yes.
Megan May because
And if nobody
seriously,
cares, like,
yeah,
I will
yes,
care. I will be like, "Dang, girl," like, I'll be your hype girl, if you're like, "Oh, I don't know, I accomplished a closet that I cleaned out that was horrible,"
yeah,
like, celebrate it. I mean, celebrate
yes,
it because, life is hard.
yeah,
The journey of life is hard. We're never promised it to be easy, so, uh, enjoy the celebrations along the way. They're
yeah.
important, and you're important.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you so, so much for being
thank
here
you.
and for sharing this and your story and just everything you shared with us because this is going to touch so many women that need to hear this. So,
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I am so
yeah.
excited. You're my like California girl, my California friend.
Yes.
I was like, where are you from? I'm from Minnesota, so I love friends from different areas and all the things. So thank you for finding me and for supporting me so I could find you. I mean,
Yeah.
like I think that's a beautiful thing of finding people and filling your feed with stuff that's going to fill you.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm excited for you to make your debut on my podcast
Yes.
because I just feel like this world needs a lot more of you in it for sure. Yeah.
Same.
So
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you, friend. Yes.
To